Hello and welcome to Bangla City SATV News. This is Nahin Tahir with our headlines. Invest in research to expand businesses at home and abroad. Prime Minister to business community, inauguration of International Trade Fair at new address. Election Commission is meaningless without caretaker government. 2022 be a good year for democracy, said BNP. Bangladesh welcomed the Christian New Year 2022. Security tightened in Dhaka following IS threat over New Year celebration. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina today urged the business community to invest in research and development for determining the product and its demand and quality to expand their businesses both at home and abroad. She said while inaugurating the 26th edition of Dhaka International Trade Fair. The Premier said she always put emphasis on research. It's also needed in trade and commerce. Talking about the government's step for economic diplomacy, Hasina said the government has completed its survey for signing PTA or FTA or any other form of business deal with 23 countries aiming to enhance Bangladesh's trade and commerce with them. She briefly described the government's step and stimulus packages to keep the wheel of the economy moving. The Prime Minister also asked the business community to explore new markets for export Bangladeshi item and diversify the products which is urgently needed for export. On the first day of New Year, primary school books are being distributed in schools across the country. Due to corona pandemic, there is no textbook festival during this time. Book distribution program will continue for 13 days with shortage of 3 crore books. This program will end on January 13. 34 crore 80 lakh 22,130 copies of textbooks are being distributed free of cost. It also includes Braille textbook for visually impaired students and textbook printed in the mother language of students from 5 ethnic groups. Books are distributed on the first day of the year in Borguna. In Chatpur, teachers handed over new books to the students by maintaining social distance. However, it has been decided not to start the educational activities in full force for at least 3 more months. BNP Secretary General Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir said President's dialogue on the formation of Election Commission is meaningless without a caretaker government. He made this remark while talking to reporters after placing a wreath at party founder Ziaur Rahman's grave of Jatiyotabadi Chhatra Dal, marking its 43rd founding anniversary. Fakhrul said the problem is not the Election Commission. We need a caretaker government. BNP is hopeful that democracy will be restored in Bangladesh in the new year 2022. In the program, Mirza Fakhrul alleged the government and said they are pushing Khaled Zia to her death without any treatment. Later, the BNP leader joined the memorial service of late journalist leader Riazuddin Ahmed at the National Press Club. BNP joined Secretary General Ruhul Kabir Rizvi and Shaukat Mahmood were present at the memorial meeting. Bidding adieu to the eventful 2021 with minimalistic celebration amid the restriction caused by the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, Bangladesh welcomed the Christian New Year on the first hour of Saturday. The skyscape of the city Dhaka was covered with thousands of flashing lanterns and sparkling fireworks, levitating all over the city. Dhaka residents joined the celebration mostly from rooftop of their apartments and residence or empty spaces around their household as the Dhaka Metropolitan Police barred all kind of public celebration. Security has been beefed up in Dhaka following a bomb attack threatened by Islamic State over New Year celebration in Muslim majority countries. Dhaka Metropolitan Police Commissioner Muhammad Shafiqul Islam revealed the information while talking to journalists at Dhaka's Gulshan area last night. Viewers, we are taking a short break. Stay with Bangla City SATV News. Welcome back and you're watching Bangla City SATV News. Now international news. Good riddance of 2021, letting 2022 bring fresh hope. That was a common sentiment as people around the world began welcoming in the new year. Australia went ahead with the celebration despite an explosion in virus cases. Thousands of fireworks lit up the sky over Sydney's Harbour Bridge and Opera House at midnight in a spectacular display. Neighbouring New Zealand had earlier opted for a more low-key approach, replacing its fireworks show in Auckland with a light display projected onto the landmarks including the Sky Tower and Harbour Bridge. In Paris, officials cancelled the fireworks amid surging infection and reintroduced mandatory mask wearing outdoor. In India, millions of people were planning to ring in the new year from their homes with nighttime curfew and other restrictions taking the fees out of the celebration in large cities, including New Delhi and Mumbai. At least 12 people were dead and 14 injured in stampede caused by a surge of devotees on New Year's Day at the famous hilltop Hindu shrine in Jammu and Kashmir in India. The stampede happened at Mata Vishnu Devi Temple atop Tirukota Hills. Police said rescue operation began immediately and all the injured have been taken to hospitals where condition of some was stated to be critical. After the stampede, the pilgrimage to the shrine was halted briefly before resuming. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed deep grief over the loss of their lives in the stampede at the Mata Vishnu temple. In a tweet, he said, extremely saddened by the loss of lives due to stampede at Mata Vishnu Devi Bhavan. Condolences to the bereaved families. 4 soldiers have been killed in an exchange of gunfire with the Pakistani Taliban, the country's army said, in the deadliest confrontation between the armed group and security forces since a truce was called off earlier this month. The military said on Friday that the security forces raided 2 hideouts in a former Taliban stronghold near Afghanistan. Reports said the first raid was carried out in the Tang district in the northwest, killing 2 armed fighters. The other strike was carried out in the North Waziristan district, capturing a fighter before 4 soldiers died in the fighting. Security forces were raiding suspected hideouts in the town of Mir Ali in North Waziristan when the soldiers were killed during an intense exchange of fire. US President Joe Biden and Russian President Vladimir Putin have exchanged warnings over Ukraine but conveyed some optimism that diplomatic talks in January could ease spiraling tension. In a 50-minute call, their second conversation this month, Biden said he needed to see Russia decrease its military build-up near Ukraine, while Putin said sanctions threatened by Washington and allies could lead to a rupture in ties. The call was requested by Putin. The leaders' exchange set the stage for lower-level engagement between the countries, including a Jan 19 to 10th US-Russia security meeting, followed by a Russia-NATO session on January 12 and a broader conference including Moscow, Washington and other European countries slated for January 13. Queen Elizabeth on Friday announced a knighthood for former Prime Minister Tony Blair, while the traditional New Year's honours has also decorated officials who spearheaded Britain's fight against COVID-19. The Queen personally appointed Blair as Knight Companion of the Most Noble Order of the Garter, the most senior order of knighthood. Blair, now 68, defeated Major with a landslide Labour victory in 1997 and spent a decade in office. His success, including securing peace in Northern Ireland and massively expanding gay rights, but he was widely revealed at home for his support for the 2003 US-led Iraq War. Iran's space launch on Thursday has failed to put its 3 payloads into orbit after the rocket was unable to reach the required speed, a Defense Ministry spokesman said in remarks carried on state television. Ahmed Husseini did not clarify whether the devices had reached orbit, but suggested the launch was a test before upcoming attempts to put satellites to orbit. Washington said it is concerned by Iran's development of space launch vehicles, and German diplomat said Berlin had called on Iran to stop sending satellite-launched rockets into space, adding that they violated a United Nations Security Council resolution. France said on Friday the rocket launch aimed at sending 3 research devices into space was in violation of UN rights. New Zealand on the way to big collection in Mount Maunganui test. At the end of the first set, the Kiwis scored 258 runs for 5 wickets against Bangladesh. Devon Conway has scored a century. Shariful Islam gave a good start to Bangladesh in the beginning. The pacer returned New Zealand captain Tom Latham for 1 run. Will Young and Devon Conway lost the second wicket. When Young returned with 52 runs, he blocked the 138-run partnership with Conway. Young was cut in the run-out. After that, Shariful did not let Ross Taylor stay. However, in the second century of career, Conway led the team a big collection. He was dismissed for 122 runs. Ibadat returned Tom Blundell for 11 runs. However, for the rest of the day, Henry Nicholls did not allow any more danger to the team. He finished the day unbeaten on 32 runs. Bangladesh is playing with 3 pacers in this match. Before ending, we go through your Bangla City SATV News headlines again. Invest in research to expand businesses at home and abroad. Prime Minister to Business Community, inauguration of International Trade Fair at new address. Election Commission is meaningless without caretaker government. 2022 to be a good year for democracy, said BNP. Bangladesh welcomed the Christian New Year 2022. Security tightened in Dhaka following IS threat over New Year celebration. You're up to date with your Bangla City SATV News, and to know the latest in SATV News, visit www.satv.tv. Stay with us.